To go. All they're saying is move back. I'll let you listen.
Move. Move. Move.
When the lights go down.
Well, the fair doesn't end. They want to know that when they bring their kids out here that everything is safe.
The Ohio River. After the EPA asked company cost to change the filters is $500,000.
The few areas of Atlantic Beach which did flood had water which was at most several inches deep.
Homeowners have been taking to Facebook and Nextdoor to write about the loud booming sounds or blasts. One says we lost power briefly. Another writing our lights flickered. Still another says it woke them up.
It marked the end to a decade-long playoff drought.
Saturday morning, within a matter of minutes, 2 Circle Ks on Owen Drive were robbed.
MEA seized more than 4,700 vehicles during a 5-year period from July 2011 to June 2016.
Sir, why do you have a knife on you? Because I was upholding the law.
Gangs, guns, and drugs.
Tibble, can you in 2413 meet me at the 141? You name it, it's traveling on the highway.
Hey, how you doing, sir? I'm Deputy Hupton with Nash County Sheriff's Office.
On any given day, Captain Alan Wilson and his team are keeping a close watch on I-95.
Criminals use it as a thoroughfare from the northern states all the way to Florida.
Even if they're not, their final destination isn't Nash County, they're still coming through your territory.
That's exactly right. And the criminal element traveling anywhere should not just have a free pass.
Good.
You all right?
These members of the Nash County Sheriff's Office are on a special mission. They're looking for illegal drugs, guns, stolen credit cards, and other criminal activity as part of the Highway Interdiction Team.
It's been a very fruitful adventure, and we've took a lot of criminals off the road.
2412.
Sheriff Keith Stone drew from his experience on the highway patrol and started the program as a way of stopping drugs from coming into his community.
The number one place that is most susceptible to getting caught is when it's in transit. So why don't we capitalize on this moment?
Basically, as traffic's approaching him, he's looking to see what kind of movements they make, and also any violations that he may see.
Northbound to 147.
After a car is pulled over for something like speeding or following too closely, deputies start a conversation.
Hey, how you doing? Good. You run a little fast. Everything all right?
They've gone through months of special training for this moment.
Looking at the reactions, looking at the stress level, understanding that the normal traveling public, they may have a certain level of stress.
I'm not going to give you a ticket.
But once you get talking to them, once you explain the outcome, their stress level normally will dissipate. And those involved in criminal activity, their stress level sometimes will not dissipate. And then they have a hard time answering questions because they truly cannot tell you things about their trip.
This tactic has paid off. In the last 12 months, deputies seized $5 million worth of drugs and $700,000 in cash.
As soon as I spoke to the gentleman and just started carrying on a casual conversation, what he said made absolutely no sense. And that particular gentleman had 3 kilos of cocaine hid in the dash of his car.
Captain Wilson says his team follows a strict set of rules.
So he let him go. He felt like it was nothing more than a traffic stop.
If they believe something illegal is going on, they first ask for consent to search a car. If a driver says no and the deputies have reasonable suspicion or borderline probable cause, they call the K-9.
We have found it mixed in with luggage. We found it hid deep inside the vehicle, from the center console to people pulling apart headlights. And it's not just about trying to find drugs or trying to find money. It's about really trying to find the criminal.
The reason why I'm stopping you.
And by stopping them, the sheriff says his team is helping keep families safe in North Carolina and all along the East Coast.
With the lure allure of quick, easy money, the number of sweepstakes parlors in our area is growing. The large amounts of cash they have on hand and the late-night hours have also made them targets for violent crimes.
We are in the casino, and on 83rd Road by them, people got a robbery. 2 guys came here with a mask on, and was shooting. Everybody all right, y'all?
That 911 call is just one of dozens from sweepstakes parlors in Raleigh this year.
Gunshots fired.
Back in November, I introduced you to a wife and mother who'd been shot following a robbery outside one of those businesses, the Blue Room on South Saunders Street.
She was really terrified when she was being shot. There was just all sorts of things running through her mind at the time.
I reached out to the Raleigh Police Department and the state, hoping to get a specific list of sweepstakes parlors in the city. Turns out they don't have a record of them because they don't have to be licensed.
With no database, I instead requested calls for service for several known sweepstakes cafes dating back 6 months. The results from Raleigh police show dozens of calls, from break-ins to disturbances to assaults, a growing concern for the North Carolina Sheriff's Association.
For years, we've heard that the sheriffs are getting complaints from their law-abiding citizens, complaints from family members.
Chris Poole is the head of the state's ALE gambling unit. He works undercover, so he can't show his face. Under North Carolina law, games of chance are illegal. Businesses claim these are games of skill. The way Poole sees it, it's all against the law.
If you have a game of chance and then you add a component that you're saying that is skill, that does not make that game of chance legal in North Carolina.
They have to go in undercover, they have to play the machines, they have to be equipped with the necessary equipment to video what the machine is doing, because the DA needs that in order to prosecute the case.
But the investigations take time and resources. Statewide, Poole has only 4 agents.
There's no regulation done on any of the sweepstake parlors or gaming locations.
The manager of the Arcade, a sweepstakes parlor off Spring Forest Road, agreed to talk with me if we didn't show his face or give his name. They might look at this and say, you're taking advantage of people. You know, that there's no real oversight over these places.
Would you say that could be said about a car dealership too?
CBS 17 stopped by several of these businesses. We found most have free drinks and food. They keep the windows tinted, much like a casino. Poole also points out that since they're not regulated, there's no way to ensure the owners are paying taxes on their earnings. So why isn't more being done in Wake County? I went to District Attorney Lauren Freeman looking for answers.
They are constantly working to create new games and different games, such that what we may go in and say today is illegal, they may be playing something totally different by tomorrow.
Freeman says if they have an investigation that they believe will stand up in court, they'll pursue it. In Raleigh, Amy Cutler, CBS 17 News.
Glory to the newborn King.
Gosh, it's just so cool.
Peace on earth.
They've gotten this done in 5 days.
She deserves it. Every kid deserves it.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Isla loves Christmas too. She loves getting presents. She loves the pretty decorations in the trees.
Merry Christmas.
We just want to see all the effort that everybody has put in. There's been a lot of work.
One little girl, her struggle, her family has touched so many people.
If they're asking us to do something like this, I'm up for it.
She knows she's sick.
As a parent, it's probably the hardest thing you can have your child go through.
She has defied a lot of odds.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
It's awe-inspiring. The community coming together has honestly made all of this a little bit easier.
And the music, singing, I hope she loves it.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
It's really, really touching to think that so many people love my kid and so many people want to do anything they can to make her smile.
Christ is born in Bethlehem.
It's nice. It's for her.
Heart racing, is adrenaline flowing.
The whistle was going, and I just knew that the train was too close.
We were prepared for a crash.
It was just before 9:30 on October 30th when Officer Tony Paler and Sergeant Dan Leader got a radio call about a car stuck on the train tracks at Pettigrew and Plum.
I said, I'll respond.
Officer Paler got there first and saw the truck with 4 people inside.
The front axle got caught on the track.
That's when Officer Paler realized a train was coming and was told it was going too fast to stop.
I'm screaming, get out of the truck, get out of the truck, because the train is coming and you can hear the train coming down the tracks and you can hear the horn blowing.
Paler says 3 people hopped out, but the driver was stuck.
He was paraplegic. He had one leg and he was kind of heavy.
So Officer Paler tried to pull the driver out.
When I pulled up, the train was bearing down. I could see Tony struggling with this gentleman, and the train did not appear that it was going to stop.
Sergeant Leader had learned that train was carrying chemicals and was told to get out of the area. Instead, he ran toward the tracks.
I just ran across the tracks, knowing that the train was coming, just to make sure that I could help Tony.
Wasn't saying too much except for, come on, let's pull, let's pull, let's pull, let's get him away.
We had to get this guy far enough away from the tracks, far enough away from the car, so that just in case this train didn't stop, we have a chance of making sure that we all survive.
Finally, the pair pulled the man out of the truck and dragged him to safety. At that moment, the train stopped 50 feet from them.
The conductor got off and he said, you know, must be a godsend tonight because I've never stopped the train this fast.
Sergeant Leader and Officer Paler being...
On Thursday night, Officer Paler and Sergeant Leader were awarded one of the Durham Police Department's highest honors for their actions. Actions they say are all part of their job.
Stuff like this happens all the time. Just not recognized for it all the time.
I didn't know who this guy was. Tony didn't know who this guy was. It doesn't matter. Stranger or friend, it doesn't matter. We're there to protect people and to save lives when we can.
It's therapeutic, so it's our therapy.
Allie and Adam Hogan are on the coast honoring the victims killed in the Virginia Beach mass shooting.
My dad was in the building next to it 2 minutes before it happened. He was actually supposed to go pull a permit that same day, but for some reason he just didn't go down.
We're a big city, but we're a real small town feel. You know, everybody knows everybody, it seems like.
The Hogans are friends with the son of one of the victims, Herbert Snelling, a contractor trying to fill a permit when he was killed.
He was just a great man. He was big into his church, and just if you didn't know him, you knew him. He never met a stranger from what we heard.
They and others paddled out into the ocean for those killed or injured in the shooting.
Just typically being from a beach community and living here, if someone passes away in the community and was avid on the water, even if they weren't, this is just kind of how everyone comes together.
Some friends, others strangers, coming together as one.
My neighbor, she lost a son, and my other neighbor worked in the building next door, so it all impacted us in small ways.
It's hard every single time that I have to look at these.
Cassie Hillian even bringing pieces of driftwood, each bearing a name of those who are gone.
It doesn't impact the environment in a bad way, and their names will float out to sea, and when we go out, we can honor each person and let the families know we really love them, and we're so sorry they're having to go through all this.
Whether on land or water, those like the Hogans will continue to rise up for those impacted.
It's extremely unfortunate, and they're going to need Virginia Beach as a community in the next coming days, weeks, months, and even years.